There's a strategy in instruction called metacognition, and essentially what that means is I say out loud what I am thinking so I can share the thought process with you and you can think along the same lines. Obviously, I've been doing this the entire class, but I just wanted to sort of do the same thing again to walk you through what the next challenge is going to be. So the first thing that I did, and something that you could have done, was I took our journal entry and I separated out the previous challenge, what had been done in the past, to what the new challenge was. And I marked out the specific things that are going to be potentially things that we are going to design for. So I identified the new challenges, essentially. And then I also noted here, hopefully these location tags and the utilization of new networks can help us deal with this. So that tells me something too, that perhaps I can build upon the existing infrastructure that you created. So that's just step one. And then I said, okay, so let's map out what that actual challenge or design challenge would be. So first, I know that the water and the wind knocked out the electricity. I've got the storm surges from that, so I've got too much water. That leads to flooding. And those two things combined lead to my sewage and plumbing just getting shut. They're not operational. And again, with the water treatment and purification. Well, what does that lead to? I've just got like filthy, disgusting conditions. I've got water contamination, and I've got really limited access to clean water. Now, some of these things too can also, as the story said, potentially lead to bacterial explosions and then maybe cholera or some other sort of public health crisis. So once I've kind of got that laid out and I understand how these things are connected and where they came from, then I have to ask myself, well, what do I do with it next? And so then the question becomes, where in this system, where in this mess can I intervene? In other words, where the leverage points or the places where I can make alterations that are the most plausible and have the most benefit. And so like there's a little bit of interaction there. I've got sort of opposite sides of the scope, because usually the things that are the most beneficial are often the things that are hardest to do. So I said, okay, well, there are three major areas in here where I can see making a change. So one, right up here, I've got too much water. And so then I have to say, okay, well, can I do something before or to prepare for that? Can I do something during the actual storm? Could I do something after? I know that's going to be large. I know that's going to be a lot of money and infrastructure, but sure, I could definitely do something about that. Then I say, okay, well, the next question I have here, well, I've got unsanitary conditions. There's my second challenge. Sewage and plumbing is a massive problem and could potentially lead to disease. So can I do something about that? During the storm, after the storm? Sure. And then my third one, well, obviously, I've got the problem with the water itself. It's contaminated, it's extremely limited. Can I do something here? On what scale? Am I thinking about individuals? Am I thinking about a whole family and something in the house? Am I thinking about the whole community? So there's definitely 3 points in here where I can start thinking about creating new design challenges. So then I have to start thinking about what nature would do. So if my challenge is too much water, then I have to ask, well, what would nature do? Well, it would absorb it. It would store it. But we could also take it a step further and ask, well, how can we use this to our advantage? Because both wind and water is a resource. So could we use it to generate energy? Could we use those things to provide an ecosystem service? Definitely. Second challenge, unsanitary conditions. So what does nature do with waste? What does it do with bacteria? Well, again, it breaks it down. It uses it as a resource. It stops the bacteria for the waste from attaching to surfaces in the first place, or perhaps it destroys it. Okay, there's a whole bunch of functions in there. And then the third one, well, I've got the contaminated water. So then I'm asking a couple different questions here. What would nature do with particulate matter that it doesn't want? Well, it would filter it. It would expel various things, whether it's expelling the water or a different liquid, or it's getting rid of the waste. It perhaps is breaking down either the organic chemicals or the biotic factors in there. I might be preventing disease, okay, protect against biotic factors. And then that one's just a straight up easy one, distributing water. Okay, so I've definitely lots of functions within 3 different challenges. So that then introduces what you guys will be doing for the next 3 weeks. Your group will choose one of the 3 challenges, and you are going to act as if you are hired biomimetic specialists and you are on a task force to create conditions conducive to life. And what we are going to be using to do this is the Biomimicry Design Lens. So in week 8, which is now, I'm going to give you the scoping, which is defining the context and identifying the functions you need to solve for, and integrating the life's principles. That's already been given to you. That's great. This week, you are discovering, you are finding your champion organisms. In other words, you are using nature as a mentor. Who do we have to learn from to solve this challenge? That portion will be due the upcoming Saturday. Then in module 9, we will take another step forward. So I'm providing the scoping. You will do the discovering here. Next, in module 9, you will be figuring out, well, where is our design solution? You'll be coming up with multiple solutions here, modeling after what you have found in nature. That will be due the following Saturday. And in module 10, you'll be giving and receiving feedback with other groups, measuring your design against the life's principles to make sure that it does and functions as nature would. Improve and finalize your design, which on the scale here would be measuring. So we're going to go through this cycle as if you were acting like real, true biomimetic specialists.